Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of FI Talk. Brandon Love here. I'm going to be flying solo today, a little episode to talk about my journey leading into financial independence and how I got myself into a big hole and then how I climbed my way out of it. So, kind of just taking things back a bit, when I was in my final year of university, I was very interested in startup businesses. I had read books like The 4 Hour Work Week, and I thought, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to skip the plan to go to law school, and I'm just going to dive all in on starting up these businesses, make my millions, and chill out. And so during my time at university, I had been pretty conservative with my money. I made sure not to spend too much. I still had student loans, but it wasn't an overwhelming amount. And then in my final year, I was like, fuck it, I'm going all out. I took out a big line of credit and I went snowboarding all throughout the winter. I ate some nice meals. I partied quite a bit and I invested tens of thousands of dollars into these attempts to swing for the fences and make it big. And it all kind of came crashing down. I graduated. I didn't have any money. I had a $60,000 debt burden, and I was back home in my childhood bedroom, kind of sitting there like, what the fuck did I do? So, from that perspective, I realized that one, I needed to put more effort and attention into these businesses. But in the same token, I didn't really know how to do that. So I made a few critical mistakes. One being I took sort of that 9 to 5 type job for a little bit, and I tried to work on my businesses in the evening. What I found there was you'd be kind of burnt out from your day, and then external pressures of like friends or family wanting to do something. You end up sacrificing the time that should be focused on your business and just kind of never goes anywhere. So from that point, I flipped the script again and I got a job that paid me for working in the evening and I worked as a waiter. And that was a great job because I was able to get the tip income as well as the base pay. And it gave me that bit of flexibility to run my business during the day. With that income, I made another big mistake. And that was I lived off of the tips and I saved the paycheck, and the paycheck went towards the debt load. And that was a big error because anyone who's been in the service industry before knows that the bulk of your income is made from tips. So finally, I flipped that and I got really aggressive with paying down the debt. And one thing I did that made it very effective to pay down the debt was I took an old picture frame. It had like some old floral photo and a nice frame around it. And I took some chalkboard paint and I painted the entirety of the picture part and I wrote $60,000 down on it. And I hung that at the wall at the end of my bed. So every morning when I woke up, I sat up and I looked and I saw $60,000. And I know some of you are probably thinking that's pretty fucking depressing, Brandon. Why would you do that? But it motivated me and kept me focused on the goal, which was killing that debt. So what I did is anytime I paid down a lump sum of it, I would just wipe it off and rewrite the new number. And this kept me very motivated. So basically, it took me 2 years from graduation to get out of that hole. And yeah, so I did that by trimming all the extra expenses. I went out less, I ate out less, I bought less clothing. I became more satisfied with the basics that I had and then prioritized just aggressively paying down that debt. And then from there, once I got out of the hole, I had to shift my focus onto what to do next. So I looked at things like what's my maximum TFSA contribution room? How much can I put in RRSPs? What are all the tax advantage areas? And prioritize putting the funds in those first. And that took some time to build up, but I kept the same mentality of if I can kill the debt, then I can build at the same pace. So, key takeaways, make it visual. If you're looking at it every day, you're not going to forget about it. It's going to be a priority for you, and you'll also get it dealt with a lot quicker. Number two, focus on streams of income that can be done in the evening and weekends and that have a high upside with like a tip component to it, it's hard to crush things on an extra hourly wage. You need something like a high leverage activity. Um, now we're in 100% commission space, and the rewards outweigh the action sometimes, and sometimes it's the flip of that. But those kind of industries are hard to do part time. So I would say pick something like waiting tables, bartending, any driving Uber, things like that, where there's a tip component to it, and get yourself out of the debt, build a bit of a runway, and then focus on another industry that has a greater upside. Or if you're happy with your employment, just focus on building a bit of a nut to start investing with. With that investment nut, you can focus on things like maxing out your TFSA, RRSP, etc., and get the earnings snowball started. Have an awesome week. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.